The first time Isha saw Earth, it took her breath away. Blue and green swirled beneath her, a vibrant jewel against the black velvet of space. She was just 7, her home planet a fading memory. Zadora 5, a world consumed by war, was no place for a child, especially not one like her. Isha wasn't from Zadora 5. She was different, born under a binary sun, gifted with powers beyond comprehension. Energy crackled around her, a visible aura of cosmic might. Her parents, desperate to protect their dying world and their daughter, sent her away. A sleek spacecraft piloted by a loyal AI carried her to Earth. There she would be safe. There she would learn to control the power that pulsed within her. The fate of 2 worlds rested on her small shoulders. Isha landed in rural Montana. The vastness of the sky, the scent of pine needles, the silence of the wilderness. It was all so different from the metal and noise of her home. The Millers, a kind couple who longed for a child, found her. They named her Isha, unaware of the true meaning behind the name, she who protects. Life in Montana was a stark contrast to the life Isha would have known on Zadora 5. Gone were the sterile corridors and advanced technology. In their place were sprawling fields, the warmth of a loving family, and the simple joys of a childhood spent exploring the woods. The Millers knew Isha was special. They saw flashes of her power, witnessed things that defied explanation. But they never questioned, never pushed. They loved her unconditionally, providing a stable and loving environment where she could grow. Isha learned to control her powers, to mask her true nature. She excelled in school, a model student, always careful to never stand out too much. But the weight of her secret, the burden of her destiny, was a constant shadow. She dreamt of Zadora 5, a planet she barely remembered, but carried in her heart. A planet counting on her. She trained in secret, honing her abilities, preparing for the day she would fulfill her destiny, the day she could no longer hide. Life took an unexpected turn when Isha turned 16. The Millers decided to move to Japan, seeking new opportunities. For Isha, it was another upheaval, another layer of adjustment in her already complicated life. Little did she know, this move would lead her to her destiny. In Japan, she met Pritom and Ovi. Pritom, with his mischievous grin and boundless energy, was known as the Monkey King human. He possessed incredible agility and strength, a descendant of ancient warriors who could move like the wind. Ovi, Pritom's younger brother, was quieter, more reserved. But beneath his calm exterior resided the fiery spirit of a Saiyan, capable of unleashing devastating energy blasts. Pritom, always attuned to the extraordinary, saw through Isha's carefully constructed facade. He sensed her power, recognized a kindred spirit. He became her confidant, her best friend, the brother she never had. Ovi, initially wary, warmed up to Isha's quiet strength. They trained together, pushing each other to their limits, forming an unbreakable bond. They were an unlikely trio, brought together by fate. The girl from another world, the Monkey King human, and the Saiyan warrior. They were Earth's first and perhaps last line of defense. The peace was shattered on a day that began like any other. The sky, a brilliant blue just moments before, turned a sickly green. A tremor ran through the earth, followed by a deafening roar that seemed to split the heavens. A colossal spaceship, sleek and menacing, pierced through the clouds, casting an ominous shadow over the world. Cryon had arrived, a being of pure malice, a cybernetic entity driven by an insatiable hunger for conquest. He had consumed countless worlds, leaving behind only devastation. Earth, with its vibrant energy, was his next target. From the belly of his ship poured forth an army of grotesque creatures, genetically engineered for war. They swarmed across the globe, laying waste to cities, crushing human resistance. Cryon, seated on a throne of bone and metal, watched with cold amusement. He had anticipated resistance. He had not anticipated Isha. News of the invasion spread like wildfire. Panic gripped the world. Governments crumbled. Humanity, outmatched and outgunned, faced extinction. In the face of unimaginable terror, 3 figures stood defiant. Isha, Pritom and Ovi were ready to fight. They were ready to die to protect their home. Section 5, Clash of Titans. The battle for Earth raged across the globe. Cities became battlegrounds, the skies ablaze with energy blasts and the screech of alien weaponry. Isha, a whirlwind of cosmic power, tore through Cryon's legions. Her hands crackled with energy, disintegrating enemies with a touch. Pritam, a blur of motion, danced through the battlefield. He moved like a phantom, striking with blinding speed, disarming foes before they even realized he was there. His laughter echoed across the devastated landscape, a defiant challenge to the invaders. Ovi, radiating golden energy, unleashed devastating blasts of Saiyan power. Each blast obliterated scores of enemies, but still they kept coming, relentless and merciless. The sheer number of Creon's forces was overwhelming. Despite their valiant efforts, the tide of the battle began to turn. Creon, observing from his flagship, smiled cruelly. He unleashed his trump card, a weapon capable of tearing apart the very fabric of Earth, leaving it a smouldering ruin. Section 6. The Ultimate Gamble. The news of Creon's planet-destroying weapon sent a chill through Isha. She had fought bravely, pushed her powers to the limit, but it wasn't enough. The fate of Earth, the fate of her people, hung by a thread. Despair threatened to consume her, but then she remembered the stories. Legends whispered on her home planet, tales of a power so great, so dangerous, that it could reshape reality itself. Galactic fusion, the ultimate power, the merging of two souls, two energies, into one unstoppable force. A risky, desperate gamble. It had never been attempted before. The strain could be too much, the consequences dire, but it was their only hope. Isha knew what she had to do. She turned to Pritam, her heart heavy with the weight of her decision. Pritam, ever the mischievous one, surprised her with his seriousness. "You always knew this day would come, didn't you?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper above the din of battle. Isha nodded, tears welling in her eyes. "Let's show them what happens when a star and a monkey dance." Section 7. A heartbeat for a galaxy. The world seemed to hold its breath as Isha and Pritam stood at the epicenter of the battlefield. The air crackled with anticipation, the very fabric of reality trembling around them. Pritam, channeling the ancient power of his lineage, the spirit of the Monkey King, met Isha's gaze. They reached for each other, their hands meeting in a spark of blinding light. A shockwave erupted from their point of contact, throwing back friend and foe alike. The world seemed to shrink, then expand, as the two beings began to merge. Cosmic energies swirled around them, a vortex of power that threatened to consume everything in its path. Isha felt Pritam's essence merging with hers. His courage, his mischievous spirit, his unwavering loyalty, it all flowed into her, becoming a part of her. Her sorrow at his impending sacrifice fueled her resolve. The fusion was complete. Isha stood alone, her form radiating blinding light, her eyes blazing with the combined power of a star and a Monkey King. She raised her hand, and the world held its breath. Section 8. Legacy of the Fallen Star. A wave of pure energy, a force of nature unleashed, erupted from Isha. It washed over the battlefield, obliterating Creon's army, vaporizing their metal bodies, silencing their war cries. The very air crackled with the raw power that coursed through her. Creon, his amusement gone, stared in disbelief as his forces crumbled before him. He roared in defiance, but it was too late. The wave of energy slammed into his flagship, tearing it apart piece by piece. The screams of the damned echoed through the void as Creon and his ship were consumed by the light. The light faded, leaving behind a stunned silence. Isha stood victorious, the savior of Earth, but her victory was bittersweet. She could feel the absence in her soul, the void left by Pritam's sacrifice. He was gone, his essence now a part of her, his bravery etched forever in her heart. She fell to her knees, the weight of his sacrifice, the weight of her responsibility crushing her. She was no longer just Isha, the girl from Zedora 5. She was something more, something greater. She was the legacy of a fallen star, the living embodiment of sacrifice and courage. Section 9. Guardian of Two Worlds. In the aftermath of the battle, the world slowly began to heal. Cities were rebuilt, lives pieced back together. The memory of the invasion, of Pritam's sacrifice lingered, a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. Isha, hailed as a hero, knew that her duty was far from over. She had saved Earth, but the universe was a vast and dangerous place. There would be other threats, other enemies who would seek to exploit the vulnerable. She would be ready. She would honor Pritam's memory by protecting the planet he had loved, the planet they had fought for together. With a heavy heart but unwavering resolve, Isha embraced her destiny. She was the guardian of two worlds, a beacon of hope in the darkness. She would continue to fight, to protect, to ensure that Pritam's sacrifice was never in vain. The stars twinkled above her, a reminder of her origins, of the home she had never forgotten. She was a daughter of two worlds, a warrior forged in the fires of loss and determination, and she would not falter. She would stand watch, ever vigilant, a silent guardian against the shadows that lurked in the void. She was Aisha, and she would protect.